then, and number one now.
You're listening to Heffron and Reep. Heffron and Reep. Rated #1 podcast by the World Podcasting Federation and the Podcast Ranking Association. No, for real. It says it right here.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to an all-new live Heffron and Reep. That's right. It is Monday, March the 28th, 2022. We're live right now on Facebook and YouTube. And you're watching Heffron and Reep. And what is Heffron and Reep? I'll tell you what it is. It's two winners of Last Comic Standing. Journeyman, road dogs, lover of the 80s. And we both survived Los Angeles. We've been around a lot of famous people. We've been to award shows. So we understand the life and craziness that happens. We're going to talk about the slap heard around the world. I'm talking about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. And we're going to talk about that. But we're not going to talk about politics, pandutins, no Putins, no pandemics. We will have Pescatellis. That's right. Another veteran of the road who I cannot wait for her to talk about what happened at the Oscars. And for those of you who are tuning in right now, I know we got some Jon Reep fans. We got some John Heffron fans. A lot of you are going to be like, I don't watch the Oscars. That's stupid. Stupid Hollywood gives themselves award. I didn't watch it either, but I know what happens in the zeitgeist of the world. I like it when an event happens and we all have to talk about it together. And that's what we're going to do. And I got my good friend John Heffron joining me as well. Hello, John Heffron.
So that whole time, because we do a new thing now where one of us starts the show.
Correct.
Just to do all the intro-y type stuff. And then then we bring it on. Yeah. So that whole time I was staring, I didn't realize I was on. I didn't look to see that I was a square that was live right next to you.
Correct. And I did not mean for you to be on.
And so I was watching you and I'm just like that. And then I looked down and underneath the picture, there's a thing when you're live like this that says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. Almost like just the computer was like, hey, it's a thing. So that's why I didn't say anything right there. And
and by the way, it was a nice relief.
My bad. What, you mean you didn't hear
Lock it in.
You didn't hear any of that, or you didn't hear any of this?
No. But I heard a little bit of noise underneath that Alan had piped in. I think I forgot to remind Alan that it's just me in the beginning. Then we bring you in, and he just went straight for same time, and that's okay. It's not a big deal.
Contain.
Listen, anything can happen when you're live, and we're live. So also, the Alan Jackson, when you get a chance. We didn't talk about the mouse, so I cannot go to, it's not turned on or something. So I can't toggle between comments and private chat. So whenever you get a chance, if you could,
I'm looking at, so before
John Heffron can talk a little bit while we do that.
So, one, I want to say happy birthday to you. So obviously it was your birthday and I didn't post or I didn't, whatever. I don't even think I texted you because you looked busy. So I was just like, so now I'll say happy birthday.
Thank you.
I made you a cutting board.
Love cutting
We talked about it. You were off on your birthday in the last podcast. I did like a 20-minute infomercial about these cutting boards that I'm obsessed with. Today, I sent Alan a picture. I boxed them up today. I got twine. Mm-hmm. I got stamps. I figured out how to use a label maker and boxed up. So if you bought any last week, the batches went out. So we got a whole new batch. I'm waking up tomorrow and I'm making 10 more tomorrow. So I'm excited.
Did we, I'm wondering if I had this conversation with you or somebody else because it's in my head. Did we come up with coochie boards or is that somebody else that told me?
That was somebody else.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm wondering if you could have like a X-rated version, one that's maybe in the shape of an organ, a sex organ, and call it a coochie board, you know?
So randomly, I'll also too, while we're waiting for Pescatelli, and then we'll read some of the comments. I went to a box of just old stuff looking for some other old stuff, and I found a bag of toys that I had.
Oh,
that somehow my mom just kept in a box for me, thinking I might want to use them again.
Yeah.
Not in pristine, like collecting.
Yeah.
So hold on. I don't know if I can show you. So this is in the exact, and I'm trying to keep it in the exact position that I found everybody in. Okay.
Right.
So it's a bag, but it just, okay. I'm going to try to, so this bag, look at the party that looks like this just happening in this bag. This bag just looks like a bag of just gentlemen going out.
Yeah.
It just looks like, right? Like you've been, right? I remember on Melrose, there was a bar called the Mother Lode, or there's like big dance club. Doesn't that just look like, listen, we're going to about to have a phone party.
That's a total rage party, man.
So this is obviously the old Batman. I'm pretty sure the one guy with his arm broke is Aquaman. I think the gray hair guy is like from the Fantastic Four. But here's what I like the combo. And there's not a place in the world that this is happening right now. So if you're watching the show or if you're listening, this, this is the only place on earth. I'm guessing this is happening right now, or anybody's talking about it. It's right here is the monster.
I want to see if I can name some of these. I mean, the only one I kind of know is Batman. There's maybe it's because they're in a bag and they can't breathe and they've suffocated to death.
But
by the way, have you seen Don't F with Cats? Because I think this was in that documentary. Very sad scene. No, what's the blonde head? The blonde.
The blonde?
Yeah. If it is blonde. No.
Here?
Well, his face is right at us.
Him?
No, the front and center. The one
Batman?
Right there. Who's that guy?
So that's the thing.
Oh.
I'll pull him out, but then the monster is from Star Wars. Remember the Hoth guy that gets Luke Skywalker?
Yeah.
And then hangs him upside down. He has to use the Force. That's what that guy is. So for some reason, for 30 years, they've been hugging each other. Just in a very,
Gotcha. Well, listen, I mean,
right? I almost feel like now this is the first time I'm breaking them apart and whatever. Gosh, I gotta learn. Remember that? So that's the thing. I don't know why all my.
I mean, it's almost a perfect fit.
But look at I don't know why
they would spoon well together. Oh, who's that guy?
Everybody. So it's obviously.
Is that the $1 Million Man?
I think this guy.
Or the stunt guy? What was the stunt guy's name?
No, this guy is from Fantastic Four. So he would have been the guy who could stretch.
Oh, Stretch Armstrong kind of. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then obviously this is old school. Did you play with these as a kid? I have these are my favorite. I remember toys. They had pants. They used to have pants and stuff.
Yeah, I never really played with the dolls. I played with
they're action figures.
I'm sorry. I didn't play with the action figures. I kind of had more fun on a bike or a toy that had wheels on it, or a ball, or just my brother. I would beat the crap out of him. That's kind of what I did. But now I also have an
introduction to stamp collecting. Also,
Reed Richards. So listen, I got the mouse fixed. We're ready to roll. I see the comments. Thank you, Melody Shane and Danny and Dash Man Nash Cam. Thanks to him, I had a great time in Vegas. And Taylor Sullivan. Guys, we're going to be talking about the slap. And in fact, what I thought we might do, John Heffron, and thank you for all the birthday wish. I am 50. I feel 50. The worst I've ever felt in a long time was the actual day of turning 50. Because the night before, I had such a good time that the next day was not good. And I'm just now coming out of it. It was that good of a and thank you all for the happy birthday wishes on Facebook and all that stuff. I couldn't get to all of them. I tried to do a funny thing, John. I tried to use my 50th birthday as a way of getting Patreon supporters.
Oh, okay.
And I posted the social media company. I said, you guys, let's do that. Put my picture up, say happy 50th. And then it says, in lieu of gifts, John just wants you to join his Patreon $5 and up, so I can keep giving you content. And can you guess how many people signed up on Patreon after that post on my 50th birthday?
Man, I kind of have no what's the word? I'm not very
You're not optimistic.
Yeah, I think
Are you
in
more
today's
pessimistic?
world,
Yeah.
yes. In the soon, I'm going to say, after all the content you do, effort, asking people, 3.
It was 1.
Yeah. Well, I was 1. That's what I was gonna get you
34.
for your birthday, but my credit card was declined. So
yeah. So anyway, thank you all for watching this. If you're not a Patreon member, you could do it. You could go to heffronandreep.com anytime you feel like it. Click on support, and you could throw a little money in the tip jar every now and then. That'd be nice. But if you don't, that's fine too. We're just happy you're here at all. John Heffron, did you watch the Oscars at all?
So I did not watch them last night when everything was going on, and I went to bed, and then I got a text from you saying, hey, we should talk about the slap on the podcast. And I think I texted you back. I don't know what slap. And then when I saw it, I was like, what? And then I had to go back and do my research. So it was a weird thing to hear about and then go back. Yeah. And then I saw all the actual slap, and then what happened immediately afterwards and all that stuff. And then I haven't even really had time to read, go on Twitter or anything just to see what people's reactions are. I bet you. So it's weird. So this big thing just happened, but I've kind of been isolated. Making my cutting board. So yeah.
Right. I think you woke up to the news. I was the one who gave you the news. I like it when that happens because you're like, what?
I had no idea. You're like, you better fire up your laptop, is what you told me. I go, what happened? You go, you better fire up your laptop and look and see.
Crack it up, dude. You got homework to do for tonight because it's on. All right. So I did not watch the Oscars either, and I don't watch the Oscars. I kind of was into it when I first got to LA because I lived there and I was in the scene. I felt like I was because I'd go to the Comedy Store. I was in a couple of movies, a sitcom here and there. I've been to studios and I've done some red carpet crap. And so it was kind of neat. Some people do Oscar parties, and I kind of was into it for a minute, but I don't know, the last 10 years or so, it's been not a big deal. I like it when it's a funny comedian hosting. If Ricky Gervais is doing it, then they took a year off, no host. So
I wonder if it's because, right, if you go back from when you were 10 years ago, even, there was no social media or anything. And even go 15 years back from that, there definitely wasn't even the internet or anything. So that's where people actually could see stars talking. Like if you're into an actor or actress, that's where you got to literally see them, unless you bought a magazine, is the only place. So it wasn't like you were seeing, so you were excited about it. But now every one of those people who are on the Oscars probably has a Cameo page for $150. You can get a shout out for your birthday, or they have a podcast, or you follow them on Instagram. So nobody cares about that night.
Right.
If you're into that actor. So.
Yeah. It's not like an exclusive event anymore. It's kind of like, well, we'll get around to it. And then there's a lot of people who are pissed that it's gotten extra woke over the years. So a lot of people are just like done with it. Right. Now, I happened to be driving back from Nashville that day. I was driving back with like 3 of my friends in tow, and I was tired. I came home. I watched a little bit of the, Carolina beat. I watched a little bit of the March Madness, and then I was done. So I woke up like you, but just a little earlier than you, cracked open a laptop like, what is going on? So for those of you that haven't seen it, if you're not aware of it, I say we watch, and there's different version. There's an edited version. So the first thing that I saw was the edited version that I don't know where I saw it, but they like to get to the action.
Yeah.
Then I watched it unedited, and I came away with a different opinion. So I have an opinion before, I have an opinion after, and I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, I ain't 100% convinced either way.
Of your opinion?
Right. My opinion is not 100%.
Yeah, I could go back and forth. Like if you were to pick a side and I was to pick a side, I could do that. And if you say flip it and go, I could go.
I mean, it being real or fake. It being a stunt. No, I'm on Chris Rock's side.
Oh, okay.
If it was real. If it was a stunt, I'm still like, what? Why would you?
There's no point if it is a stunt. Nobody gains.
Only for the Oscars, possibly a tiny bit. In that we're talking about it now, the next day. But the Academy or whatever, whoever's a sponsor for something, I don't know, some higher up of a network, possibly. But that's deep shit, and I don't think that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
So my point is, I'm like 85% sure that it's real.
Right.
But when I first watched it, I thought it was a stunt. But let's watch it, John Heffron. Let's me and you watch it right now before we get Tammy on here. Okay. And let's talk about it. And I want to hear your points, and then we'll just go back and forth. Here it is without any interruptions.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Look at her face.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard.
He called him Richard.
Oh, wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay. So we are here to give a documentary out, to give an Oscar out for.
Okay. Now, have you seen that version, John?
Yeah.
Okay. So, a couple things. I don't know where to start. I'll start, and then you can stop me, John. Okay. Number one, where's you going? Let's just getting into it.
I know. Okay.
That's how rude.
Number one.
You never hit a commit. I mean, you can't walk up there and hit someone. That's just. I'm on Chris Rock's side. No matter what I say from here on, just know at the very end of this, I am on Chris Rock's side, and Will Smith should be ashamed of himself, and how dare him, and something should happen negatively. I mean, he needs to get something needs to happen to him, or negative. I don't know, punishment of some sort. Now, I'm blaming the wife, Jada. Okay, here's the deep thought. In the beginning of it, after the first punchline of that joke, he says, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. Gets a big laugh. He laughs. And then she does a thing like, and then right there, it became about, I now have to do something to make it look like I'm defending my wife, when really it's about me, and am I going to get deballed again on national television by either my wife or another person. So he felt like, to be a man, which is stupid, that he had to get up and do something. And I don't think Chris Rock, this is not planned, but I think it starts with that, because Jada, John, do you know that Jada sort of deballed him on her?
Yeah, on her podcast with about sleeping with another guy and all that stuff. Yeah,
and the rapper and who it was, he just kind of had to sit there and take it. So, and he's always been known as the happy, goofy, fresh prince from Bel Air with the big ears and the weird eyes, and maybe he has been putting up with a lot, for a while, and this was the final nail, and And I think had she not given him that look, then maybe he wouldn't have went up there. Had she laughed and just done like this, maybe it wouldn't have happened. I'm not excusing it, but I feel like there's history there. We also know that Chris Rock has had a documentary about black women's hair. Did you know this, John Heffron?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So now my question to you is, do you think that these two, Will and Jada, she knows she's gonna be there front row. Chris Rock's gonna be up there, the guy who makes fun of black women's hair. And by God, if he says something to me, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then he says it. And now he's got to go up there and do something because he knows he has to go home with her. And if he doesn't say something, he's going to be in for a big surprise at home. I think there's a little bit of that going on here. Now, I've talked for a while. I'd like to hear you rebut some of this or talk about it.
Yeah, I probably without, I guess you give somebody the benefit of the doubt, even though you shouldn't smack anybody. You're not allowed to go on stage and hit a comic. And they're all there and everybody gets made fun of, and it's a thing.
Before I start about this, because I'm seeing the comments. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm looking at the comments. There's a lot of people here who don't think it's real.
I think it's real. I don't because Chris Rock is too big of a star. Will Smith is too big of a star to do, who are the Island Boys type level of stuff.
Yeah,
it's not Jake Paul, and they're not doing. You know what I mean? They don't.
There's no one to benefit. No one to benefit from the stunt.
No, but we've all been. They could have been Smith. Who knows what they're going on at home, right? Who knows if she didn't want to even go out tonight because she with her thing. I know she's an actress. People go. She could have had a down day, and he could have convinced her just go out tonight. Nothing's gonna happen. It's Chris Rock. He's not gonna. No one's gonna make fun of you. No one just. And they could have had a huge blowout, and then you get there, and the first thing that happens is somebody says something. Right. So just you as a dude could be like, fuck, this is exact, right? So I don't know.
Oh, man. I'm getting a text from Tammy right now. And she's might not want to do this. Hang on. What? What's your call?
There's nothing planned, Tammy.
Well, no, she's saying there's a lot of people on my page that are shitting on her. And she's not up for it right now, which is not cool. If you guys,
who's shitting on
I don't know. She sent me a screenshot.
Read it. Who's tell me, I get shit on Reep's page from people weekly. You won't look at the comments.
I'm going to do it, but I'm going to name check them. Okay, good. Thank you, Tammy. I don't know if she's watching. Fine. Name check. I'm going to let Tammy take the floor.
Like we have no.
Yeah.
Hang
on. I just have to respond to her because this is happening right now.
Okay. So, it's such a weird place just for him to get up and just smack and not say something after the show or even if he would have gave the thumbs down or didn't laugh or even said, this isn't funny. The camera would have picked up on that. He could have aced Rock out that way. But to physically get up and walk and hit and not get kicked out and not right. Cause I mean, I've seen tables at comedy clubs for, clanking their drinks too much, get thrown out of the room.
Correct. So. All right. She's going to join us here in a minute. So,
but
I don't even want to debate the real or fake part right now. I don't think it's after you watch
it's fake.
The edited version.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I woke up, John, since I didn't see it live, I wasn't watching it live. All I saw was the highlight. When they do highlights, they cut out the weird, silent, awkward parts and they get right to the meat of whatever the story is. And I thought, well, that's got to be fake. And then I saw the long version, which we just saw with all the awkward moments. And number one, I love Chris Rock and Will Smith before this. Neither one of them had anything to benefit from it, correct?
Unless, though, but what about this? If Will Smith was getting dissed or even from his wife talking about all the other people she slept with, Are they? No, they're not friends, right? Because maybe Chris Rock will just come up and hit me. I'll make fun of
of all three of them together that are circling around online now. So they've met at other stuff before.
It's just you don't smack. Like, are we just that, right? We have presidents that say and say stupid shit and make fun of people who can't control their arms. Like, so that set that bar. We have, we call people names now, politicians, and then I don't know. Maybe we're just that. Maybe we've reached that stage.
Yeah. So in regards to is it real or is it fake? I'm on the it's real side.
Yeah.
After seeing the long version. And here's why. After the smack. Now, here's some rebuttal that some people are going to say. Well, you saw Chris Rock leaning in. Hey, Alan, let's play it again, but get ready to pause it as I'm talking. You'll see Chris Rock sort of leaning in as Will Smith approaches. And people are thinking, well, that's because they rehearsed it. He knew he was going to smack him. So but you don't, here's what I think about that is he's leaning in because he just made a joke about his wife. He sees the guy walking on stage. He's leaning in because he thinks he's going to whisper something into his ear.
That's what I would do.
I would
never expect
or say something like that. He has no clue that he's about to get smacked in the face.
Yeah, because that's so far out of your. If you're at a comedy club and doing comedy and you're talking to a heckler or maybe someone in the front row, there's always that in the back of my mind. No matter what, I'm not shocked if something like that. So that way nobody gets the best of me. Here would be the equivalent if you and Alan were in Michigan and you guys come into the house and we're gonna make some food and then for no reason Alan punches me in the face. That would be
it's like why would he do that? He's about to whisper something in my ear to add to the joke or a quick little insult and then
watch him or whatever and then just walk away.
But not a full-on attack. All right,
and he hit that slap well. It wasn't like he cocked back on that.
And I don't think he made full contact because Chris moved a little bit. I think it was mostly fingertips that got him, but he did make contact.
No, if you get hit but if you get slapped that hard, you're hearing ringing. Like it's not easy just to. That's why I know you want to stop at this thing, but that's why how he kept talking and then he introduced the next thing. Shows what a crazy professional because how many people would have just
that shows
lost
how crazy he's a great professional, but also shows he didn't make full contact with the entire hand.
If he would have, Chris Rock's not a big guy.
Right.
Your ears would have been ringing and you would have been,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Let's play it, but get ready to pause it, Alan. All right. So here we go. Here he comes.
Everyone's uncomfortable.
He's leaning in.
That was quick. He held it low.
Now he's walking away. And another argument is people are saying he's kind of laughing and walking away. And they're both kind of still smiling after this. But let me tell you something. Here's why people think it's fake. Another point why people think it's fake. We have never seen anything like this happen in the history of mankind. We're two mega celebrities in front of live audience, in front of millions of people. This has never happened, so we don't know what it looks like. And so when it does happen, you don't know. So you're thinking, well, that's fake. You don't know how humans react in these moments. This is a live event. Your adrenaline's going, and you got to you're trying to play it off. You can't believe it happened. You're in shock.
I have seen this though, not at this level, but I have seen this, and it should get as much video views as this does. Well. So, Alan, if you pull up, and John, I'm not throwing a curve at you, pull up Danny Bonaducci and Fair Play. So, remember that guy who was on a reality show? I think his name was Fair Play. Him and Bonaducci were on a reality show or on a award show like this. And Danny broke that dude's nose. Picked him up and slammed him on the floor. Literally on TV, like it was like a VH1 awards or something like that. It's not the same, but I've seen it. I've seen people get slammed before. Is she bailing?
No, I'm just double checking because I told her 8:00.
Okay, so let's watch this,
which gives us 30 minutes before. Yeah.
Okay.
It represents the most difficult. Whoa! Hey! Whoa! Who's booing?
See, we got to catch this
really
clip.
Booing?
I remember this douchebag.
Right?
Yeah, he was kind of a douche, wasn't he? Was it Real World?
Watch. Right here. Why isn't this clip?
They're booing because they hate you.
Oh, man, you had to work with that guy. I can't believe.
He's so what he does though. What?
That's a good thing, right?
Watch. Fair play jumps on Bonaducci, grabs him. Oh, I've seen that look. Watch this.
No, that's
watch.
Dumb. That's
Watch.
Dumb.
He's humping him.
look at him. Bonaducci just swagger. Like, what else you got?
I want to edit this clip and post it going,
he just walks
this
off
is the
because he knows he's screwed up. And he's hurt, right?
He broke his face. He broke his nose. His nose got busted up. I want to take that clip and I'm going to post there going, I can't believe I just saw the award show. This is what everyone was talking about.
That's what, that needs to come. Yeah.
And then I'll post that.
Oh, real quick, I just glanced over, saw one comment. Darren Green, Pauly Shore posted where he got knocked on stage. That one, have you seen that one, John?
If it's the one I'm thinking, I think that one it was beyond fake.
Yeah, that one was very fake.
Super,
which is why people
Jamie
can't
Kennedy
believe that it's true when this shit happens.
Yeah. Well,
because of people like Pauly. Pauly Shore was just tagging on a thing that was going viral and thought, like, let me just weigh in. The Pauly Shore one, just so y'all know, is fake one.
Yeah. There's a couple. Like, do you ever see the original one? Like the very first one in the history?
Tammy's in the room, dude. Let's just get to her.
Grab her.
All right, the Alan Jackson, we have a special guest. Oh, yay!
Hi, guys.
Hi there. Tammy, I always will have your back. I love
you. I'm just getting today's been a tough day because it's hard as people, I think, who all we want to do is make the world laugh. And trust me, like I didn't need Chris Rock to get slapped in the face by Will Smith to understand how hard our job is and how much harder it's been this year more than any other year.
Correct. Before we go down this road, I want to know, because I think it was you when I woke up. I follow you, and I saw because of you is how I know that it happened to begin with, because I didn't watch it live. So I'm like, what the hell? What is going on right now? So I started looking around. Now, do you think it's real or fake?
So, I didn't watch it either, clearly. Okay. Let's go with that. Well, I woke up this morning, like to a ton of emails, a ton of texts, ton of stuff. But wait, before we get started, I'm not a drama queen. This is what I do. 26 years. I'm an expert at this. If someone punched Scottie Pippen in the face, I think they'd go over and ask Steph Curry what he thought about it. This is what I do. It's not drama. Okay, so Kareem Smith, fuck off. And James Burke, you can fuck yourself too. The two of you could go fuck yourselves.
Hey, don't poke the fucking bear, man. I'm telling you, you better watch who you're walking into.
Drama queens. Listen, this is what I do. Okay, I'm allowed to be an expert at this. I was a woman in this. You guys know there were probably 5 women on the road, 20 women in total. So I'm an expert. Don't try to pick on me with this. Now, here's what happened to me. I woke up this morning. I'm getting all these texts and stuff. And look, by inference, I thought people were trying to tell me about Amy or something, this, da. Then when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. Now, originally I thought this is what I thought. Do you remember how Burt Reynolds used to smack Dom DeLuise all the time?
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So I thought that's what they were going for. I thought they were going for like a Burt Reynolds. John, do you have a pipe?
That's my new thing. I have a smoking jacket and a pipe. It's literally a flare pen. Yeah. I'm like,
I have a microphone, so just
I got a little sippy cup right here, you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Go on to. Yeah.
So I thought, like, at first I thought that's what they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. Then Will bought into his own hype because, look, everybody's like, oh, he clearly smacked him. Yeah, he also played Muhammad Ali in a movie. Yep. Like, he didn't really beat up the guy in the movies. He knows how to throw a fake smack and punch. Mm-hmm. Chris didn't react initially to me the way someone, if you really got smacked, would do, because he didn't even hold on. Like, you'd be like, what the?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like, I've been assaulted. Like, you know what I mean? I thought that it was a stunt that went too far. Like I thought it was a stunt, and then Will sat down and was feeling his machismo and trying to, and then was really acting, and then really got into it because Will's obviously got a lot of pent up stuff that's been going on in his household that's made him feel less of a man.
This is what I was saying right before you came on. He's been deballed publicly ever since Jada said, I've been screwing this other guy. We're in an open relationship. And maybe he's had enough. Maybe this was the final straw. Nail in the coffin, right?
Yeah, I think that now I was told, a very good friend of mine was writing. I was told that as far as he knew, it wasn't scripted. But you want to know what was scripted? Want to know what was scripted?
Yes.
Yes. The alopecia joke was scripted. They're calling the alopecia joke. Yet no one from censors, no one from legal. You guys know, people at home don't know. When you're on a show like that, when you're on the Tonight Show, when you're on any comedy thing that's on regulated television, network television, you have to almost submit your name to be cleared.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Okay. They literally take everything. If you say,
especially if it's a live event and they know they want to know every word that's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah. Are you going to sneeze? Are you going to sneeze? Because we need to figure out if legal, if you're allowed to sneeze and how far away you can sneeze and everything else.
Not to interrupt for that, but I am for 2 seconds to make that point. When me and Reep did the Brad Paisley comedy special, Brad wanted to sing one of his songs or do something, and legal said, you can't use that song in this. You got to whatever. And Paisley goes, this is just, off stage. He goes, no, I'm going to use it. He goes, we don't have it cleared. And Brad Paisley goes, no, I'm the guy. I'm the guy you have to get permission from to get that cleared. Right. I'm going to do it. And the legal person was like, we gotta, and Paisley was like, are you like, it was a whole thing. He's like, I'm the guy. You were clearing it from me.
Yeah. How many times have you put up your own clip on YouTube and they flag it?
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, that is me.
It's me. I'm the original owner, mother. Yeah.
That's me. Yeah. That's my voice. I wrote those jokes. I own it. It's me. So apparently the joke about G.I. Jane 2 was cleared, was written, was all there. No one had a problem when Regina Hall was basically sexually harassing guys. Like if that was in reverse, the COVID test with the tongue, holy God, we would have had a meltdown.
Was that something that happened previously on the Oscars that night?
Yeah, you should see.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
because I still haven't watched the Oscars. I've only seen.
You don't have to. You can watch the clips.
Yeah, I don't.
But I mean, there were jokes about Jake Gyllenhaal and his sister hooking up.
Yeah. They said Amy told a joke about how the pandemic was so hard. Look at Timothy Chalamet, that young, beautiful kid, and then pointed over to J.K. Simmons. Like, isn't that body shaming him, age shaming him? It was a lot of hypocrisy, right? Okay.
Thank you. That's the word, hypocrisy. Yeah. Yes.
Lots of hypocrisy. But for whatever reason, the reason I care, the reason you guys care, is we have all seen this trickle down to our stages. I could give a crap if Will wants to punch Chris at an after party. If he wants to walk over to his house, knock on the door, and beat the living shit out of him. Sorry for swearing so much, but I already flipped people off. I could care. But when he's on stage telling jokes, he's at work.
Yeah.
And if someone in show business doesn't get that that's work, then you got some mental problems. You got hit by a stunt man. You did too many of your own stunts.
Yeah.
It's going to trickle down to us. Here I am, 52 years old, standing in the dark by myself. I don't travel with anybody. I don't have an agent, a manager, security. The clubs half the time don't have security. Let's be clear. If there's a big food order, there's probably not even going to be somebody in the room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now? Because I've been assaulted on stage. That lady threw that glass at me. I'm like so riled. She threw the glass. It bounced off, hit me, cut me. I'm bleeding. I'm standing there from 200 people. There was the Marines that I went to perform in front of that were just home from Afghanistan that went to beat her up. There was another group of women that I was friends. They went to get her because she just sat in her seat, just like Will did. But the club finally got her out. I can't believe the Academy Awards let him do that and just sit there. It lets you know that show business sucks, man. We picked the worst job in the history of America because they don't care what happens to you as long as they have their winner there. Because I know a conversation from behind the scenes that legal was back there telling Chris Rock that he could press charges. Chris Rock's people wanted him to press charges. Will Smith's people were begging not to press charges. And someone from the Academy ran out and said, he's the winner. He won. We can't throw him out. So that's what I know. So again, fuck you, James, and fuck you, Corinne.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, my good friend, my partner in crime, who's a stand-up comedian, we're all in this fraternity together. Now, because it looks acceptable to walk up on stage and smack a comedian if you don't like the joke, that's going to now, we will suffer.
We suffer.
We are going to suffer, especially a female, like she just said, travels alone, has happened to her before. We don't need this to look or be accepted in a spotlight like the freaking Oscars. Yeah. So I'm with you on that. And I think it's real. At first, I thought it was fake when I saw the long version and Chris like, wow. I don't think he got full hand. I think he got fingertips.
Yeah.
And Chris didn't even have the luxury of having a stool or mic stand, which many of us are skilled in the art of dealing with the stool being one step higher than the person getting on stage. Oh, you don't.
Yeah.
You guys want to make me pull out my tactical pen that I travel with? You guys know a lot about me.
Sure.
You know,
I'm going to tell you, when that lady threw that glass and I'm bleeding, first of all, I felt this big. To be hit in terrible takes away your power, but to be hit in front of other people. And it was for your words. I wasn't even making fun of her. She just needed attention because you get too old to strip at some point. She literally, I remember thinking, and John, you remember me telling you this because your brain runs 50 miles an hour. And I was like, I could hit her because she was right up front. I could hit her with the bottom of this metal mic stand. I really wanted to just smack her right in the face with it. And I was like, I got a kid and a mortgage. Like I should have hit her before I had money. Now it'd be, and guess what? I've been off of work for 2 years. So if you get on stage, I really don't have much to lose anymore.
Yeah.
So.
How long were you in your set when it happened? Because I would have thought like if I didn't have 10 more minutes left, I would, like if I hadn't hit,
I was towards the end. I literally had said to her, because she had riled up. It was bingo seating, like those long tables. And she had interrupted the MC. The poor MC barely got any time out. She had interrupted the feature act.
Oh, geez. She's kicked out way before this.
Yeah, but they didn't have anybody. It was one of those clubs that had.
I know. I don't want to say because I do go there, but I know exactly where you are.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And they're very nice people, but they just weren't equipped for it.
Yeah.
And she literally, I said to her, honey, just be quiet I'm sure I'm not the first person to tell you to be quiet or something like you know what I mean? I'm getting ready for the dismount. And as I turned this way, I heard the glass. Thank God I have superhuman hearing. I heard the glass. It shattered here, but it cut me when it bounced back.
Yeah.
The thing was about it though, is that they were coming for her. They pulled her out finally, and I had to stay inside with the audience members because people had to filter out past her. I don't care if you don't like me, James, Corinne. I don't care. You have to know how much I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian because some of the people in my house didn't like me. Okay. I don't expect strangers to like me.
Yeah.
But Will doesn't get to hit him. You don't get to assault me. You know what you do? You can leave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can not come back. You could tell the club or the theater, you can write them I don't care if you physically write it out and send it by carrier pigeon.
Yeah.
You can write them and tell them, don't bring me back, that I suck. But
he knew he was going to win the Oscar. He could have waited in that speech.
Yeah.
I was talking. So my producer, my good friend, Alan Jackson, he's big into films and all this stuff. He had a big Oscar party. He saw it happen live. He told me the baller move, and I agree with this. The baller move if Will Smith hadn't been being deballed the last 10 years of his life or something like that, if he didn't have some sort of issue, the cool move would have been right when the joke, if it really upset you, was to walk over to your wife, whisper in her ear, grab her hand, and walk out.
Yeah.
And just watch what would happen. And Chris would have felt that big and then go to an after party, whip his ass. It's rude. It is rude to everyone who's in the crowd, all the people who can't wait to get their awards. Now you've made it about this. It is rude to those people in that moment. Should have just walked out.
And it's so dumb to do to yourself. This is a guy like Will Smith was like a rapper, then he got it. It is so hard to break through these barriers for anybody, regardless of race, color, gender, whatever. It's hard. It's hard. He was dude, you're crossing the finish line.
Yeah.
You are crossing
the
finish line. You can't shut up for 2 minutes to cross. You literally are king of Hollywood for the next year. Not King Richard, king of Hollywood. You're best actor.
Yeah.
What he really, I like Alan's idea. I think they should have turned their backs like they did to de Blasio, like the cops did in the thing. Or he could have taken Chris aside, put his hand on the back of the neck in the backstage, made him make a donation right there to www.naaf.org. That's the Alopecia Foundation. And then walked out in his acceptance speech, because we all knew he was going to win, and said, you know what? I didn't like that joke, but to make it better, Chris just donated $5,000 to NAAF.org. Think about all those poor people with the sign language and stuff. They've been waiting for their to be represented. And now it's about this.
Yeah, that's a good point. Should have donated to. So do you think that Chris Rock, I know we knew the alopecia. Wait, was it just G.I. Jane, or was alopecia in the joke? I'm wondering if
G.I. Jane. He just looked over at her and he goes, Jada, I can't wait for G.I. Jane too.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. I bet the people who love G.I. Jane are pissed off that there's actually not going to be a part 2.
I saw somebody say that it took 25 years or 22 years, but it was finally mentioned during the Academy Award.
I think Steve Byrne said that. I bet you if you were to look on Netflix, or maybe it already had, it would be, I bet you that's trending.
Oh yeah, that's probably one of the worst movies now. And I think it also added to the humor that not only was she bald, but her dress was kind of like this green camo looking. You know what I mean? It could have been like a weird, sexy,
she's gorgeous
camo. She looked So, but let me ask you this, Tammy: are you aware that Chris Rock had this documentary about black women and their hair?
I never saw, but I remember something like. Listen, I think that I don't think that every subject is open for interpretation. The joke was what it was. It was about her looking with a short haircut to be able to do G.I. Jane. If she wanted to wear a wig, she's a multi-millionaire. She could have wear a wig. She was gorgeous, is gorgeous. Her hair looks great. If I was bald, I'm sure I got dents and SpongeBob SquareHead and everything else. I think the fact of the matter is what is upsetting is so many people trying to say it's bullying. This is not bullying. These are jobs. This is work. And right or wrong, it's one joke. It's bullying is a series of you get up, you feel sick to your stomach, you got to go on the bus. They're throwing stuff at you on the bus. They're kicking you down the steps. It's a series of repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated insults and a tactical measure to make you feel bad. Comedians aren't bullies.
Yeah. He started with Jada, you're beautiful. That's how he started that joke. Jada, you're beautiful. Then he said, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. That was it. Jada, you're beautiful. G.I. Jane, can't wait. It's 7 words. And you can't. That
the censors and legal said okay to.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if Chris Rock had known, given his history, because there are people who got mad at Chris a long time ago for making fun of the sensitive topic of specifically black women and their hair. And I'm wondering if Jada knew about that and was like, well, he's going to say something about my hair. I just know it. And then Will Smith was like, now you're making me go slap this guy.
No, John, you know what I keep seeing is that when Chris hosted whatever 5 years ago, I'm not sure when it was, that's when they were doing Oscars So White. Jada and Will started that trend because Jada was upset that Will wasn't nominated for Concussion. So she was saying that she was boycotting the Oscars. And the joke that Chris did, if you see online, was Jada Pinkett, and he name checked her. And he said, like I did to Corinne and James, I'm not drama. I'm fucking petty. Get it ready. He said, you're isn't Jada Pinkett on TV? He's like, you boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I haven't been invited. Okay. So I think they have some history. Still does not allow a slap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, 100%. I agree. So we all agree it's real now. 100%. I think it's real. What got me a little bit was, and some of the people arguing about the fake or real part was that, Chris Rock was kind of leaning in as Will Smith was walking on stage, and Chris Rock was laughing because like, oh, I just did this joke. Now he's walking on stage. It's sometimes you just kind of laugh during an awkward moment. You don't know what's going to happen. And I think that he was leaning in because he thought maybe Will Smith was going to put his arm around him or do something. And, it was or maybe whisper in his ear.
Yeah.
That's why he was leaning in. Not that he was leaning in like, oh, I know a slap's about to happen. I don't think that's what it was.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I got to fix this, guys.
But I still don't think he made full contact. I think he just got these fingers. Because if he had made full contact, Chris Rock would still be, he might be in a concussion.
He might. And here's one thing I do know. Will was at the parties.
Oh, I saw videos of him partying like nothing happened.
Chris was nowhere to be seen. There's not one picture of Chris at an after party. And let me also say this. You guys are good guys. That's why I love you both. You would stand up for me if something happened. I know that. And I know for sure you stand up for your wives or your girlfriend or whatever. Like, I know you would. But do you think that it would do her any good to do something like that there?
Yeah.
That is not the time or place. He literally, the story, listen, Harvey Weinstein apparently tried to bang Gwyneth Paltrow when Brad Pitt was dating her. Brad took him aside at the Academy Awards, they said, and said something like, don't you ever do that again, or blah, 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 whatever he said to him, because no one's really said, but he got up in Harvey's situation there. He didn't say it when he was presenting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's how I'm also looking at too. Like, John, let me ask you this: as dude to dude here for a minute. Let's say you're with your girl, and someone makes a joke at her expense. How do you respond? What is let's ask the question: what is a man supposed to do in that moment? Now, he didn't punch him. He didn't use a fist. He used a slap. Right. And he didn't.
Because that shows you how much Will Smith has been out of the world. Because I'm going to tell you, if they made a joke like that at the Source Awards, Will Smith might get his ass handed to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in this room with people who have been hyping him up too long. You're just going to smack him across the face like that? Why don't you get a glove out, sir? That's what he should have done.
Yeah.
I challenge you to a duel. Yeah, right. Then we can remake Hamilton. Yeah, have a Hamilton too.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
John, what's the right way?
I just want that green thing behind you to fall, and then I just see you have like all these illegal gambling things happening in your house. Like you see a sweatshop.
Really, look. It's all my Wonder Woman stuff.
Yeah.
My crown for whatever something I won in Homecoming or whatever.
What would be the?
How do you respond, John? What are you supposed to do in this moment?
There's so many factors. If you're on the street and walking, somebody says something, then that to me, you might be a little bit more physical.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
if I'm at a work event with her at her work and somebody says something that I don't know, probably smacking her boss would probably not be the smartest thing.
Or a coworker, just
Or
in
if
general.
I'm at a comedy club and the other, I'm working with another comic in the green room and he might I would probably go through a bunch of, what'd you just say? Like have that.
Right, yeah.
And then you could but I don't know if I just walk up and smack somebody.
He could have
You
literally.
always like to talk like I just punch him in the face. If you're on the street, we're about to be robbed, or there was that thing and I don't know you and stuff, then the rules are going to change a little bit. But
Yeah.
you definitely might have to talk. I would have saved exactly what Alan said. Saying it at your speech would have been the greatest thing to do because you didn't do anything wrong. You insulted my wife and she said, but I now I have to go home and make sure she knows how beautiful she is, go to this site, because some of you are dumb and not educated about these, and he could have owned them.
He could have walked up and his physicality alone stood like this by Chris.
Yeah.
And said, I'm just here to make sure you don't tell any more jokes about my wife. Then allowed Chris to go through his whole thing. And that would have been a bad ass move. That would have been a move that even we would have been respectful of.
And that would have been hard for Chris to continue because now it's people looking what's what's Will going to do? Yeah.
Now here's the other thing. All right, now you're going to be shocked that I say this. I don't think that they should take the Academy Award away from him because I think one thing does not equate with the other. I think they were wrong for allowing him to stay, to accept it. But they did already. I think that he should have got it anyway. You can't negate his work.
Yeah, it had nothing to do. The work had nothing to do with that event. Yeah, two separate things. Yes,
right.
I agree with that. I mean, and I didn't see King Richard. Oh, here's another thing, Tammy. Let me ask you this. And by the way, I'm agreeing with that point.
Well, I'm sorry. No. If the work doesn't do the event, though, in cancer cult, I know. I'm sorry.
You guys all have one. I got
a toothpick now because
we got a toothpick. Okay. Yeah, me and Reep are selling these. If you join our Patreon, we send you a flare pen that you can watch our podcast. You can watch a podcast like this. You can do this. You can kind of just do this. There's things you do. But the work, but should he, i.e., get canceled for work he already did for this action? I mean, that happens to comics all the time. Or people do something.
Yeah, but I don't agree with even that happening. So I'm not gonna change my view on it now because of what.
You're right though. They should have just own it and go, hey, our thing was, and Will Smith and not let him talk.
So they should have escorted him out. He could have won and just been like, it is what it is. But they didn't want to take the heat for that because that would have made for an awkward moment. But Will did that to himself. I mean, look, you're talking to me. My Browns just traded for Deshaun Watson. I mean, he's got 3 rape charges. Well, I don't know if they're charged yet, but rape allegations against him. Yeah. They paid him $230 million on his contract.
Yeah.
Does one equate with the other? I don't know. But look, it didn't happen in front of 1 million people and 1,000 people in a room. You understand? So that's, I mean.
Well, he's getting awarded for something that he's already done.
That's right.
They already made up their mind. They're not
done. There's nothing you can do.
Over.
That was already done. I don't think they should take it back. I think he should be banned from the Academy Awards for life, though.
Now that I could see that. But did you notice even when he had time, I don't know how long the Oscars were. I don't know how much time they had to sit there and think about it before he won the award. Let's say it was an hour. They had an hour to sit there and think about it. And then he went up there. He apologized to the Academy. He did not apologize to Chris Rock.
Well, because he was pissed at Chris. I mean, he was pissed at him for Joe. So I get that. If you're
in that hour, you're sitting there and stewing, and everyone's sort of like looking at you like, dude, what the hell?
No,
maybe you don't have time to think. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris Rock, for slapping you in the face.
Because all 3 of us have famous friends that are at a big level of fame. I don't have any A-list friends. I have some famous friends, but I don't know. And even the level of friend, I'm not saying they're not A-list. there's, I guess, legendary. You know what I'm saying? I have A-list friends that aren't, but they're not. The level that Chris is at, I mean, Will is at, you know that not one single person on his team told him that was inappropriate. The only one who could have checked him was his wife, and she was down for it. Not one person is telling him that's wrong because they don't want fired.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So maybe now that society, you know, the rest of the world is weighing in, coming after him and saying, you know, we're all talking shit. I mean, two questions. What does Chris Rock do? What does Will Smith do next?
Okay, well, if you're asking me, I worry about Will Smith is going to make it through. I think he's mentally having some issues, and the world has never not liked him.
Right.
Never. He's been loved since the moment he hit. This will be the first time there's an actual backlash for him.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know if he's strong enough to get through it. So I hope that he is, and I pray that he is, because we don't need any more meltdowns or any self-harm or anything like that. This is what I predict is going to happen. The powers that be in PR are going to have the two of them sit down, and they're going to do a thing where Chris donates to alopecia awareness and Will donates the same amount of money to whatever domestic violence. Violence is never okay. And they'll act like everything's fine. And meanwhile, the three of us will be sitting on some chucklehead stage trying to deflect drunkies every Friday night.
Right. We're the ones who will end up inevitably paying the price.
Yeah.
But my biggest question.
But what about Chris Rock? Does he, because I don't think Chris Rock has ever been kind of demasculated like this publicly. I mean, I don't think it's never happened before. So does Chris Rock put out a new special or come up on, on the Tonight Show with a bit backlashing? I feel like he's got to say something.
I need Smith to go on Rogan. I don't know why I just said that.
No,
I'm just picking buzzword names.
I don't think he will. I think that Chris will play party ball because it's really
because it's going towards now. He's got a mental issue, and Chris Rock is smart enough and well adjusted enough to know I don't want to put gasoline on the fire that the rest of the world's already doing. And Chris Rock will be the better man and not say anything. Is that what you're saying? Well,
I also think it's a bigger picture that we don't get. Like, I have a friend of mine who I talked to today, a black guy that said, this is horrible for us. And I was like, what do you mean it doesn't? He's like, no, because there aren't a lot of black people represented. And here the two of them are going at it. Right. And we're running around the country. This is what he said, not me, because it's not my place to speak on it. But he said to me, all year long, we've been really trying to talk about violence against black men. And then we're going to stand there and allow. And it was allowed.
Yeah.
Right. Again, right. Here's Chris Rock, a famous black man who got assaulted in front of all these people, and they allowed it.
Yeah, by another black man. And I actually tweeted today, well, that shows you that privilege is not always white. I mean, it could be many colors, and I mean green as well, like Cash. If you're rich or famous or you have a green screen like Tammy, you can get away with murder. No one's going to do anything. So I get that guy's point, and that sucks.
It does suck.
I don't know what – I'm kind of hoping the comedian in me is hoping that Chris Rock will say something. It doesn't have to be vicious about it, but he can't be silent. He's a comedian. He's got to say something. You know what I mean? Even if it's like, well, I know Will. I know he just had a lapse in judgment, and then come up with a little joke. Something.
One day has gone by and there's nothing. Tomorrow, nobody cares.
Yeah, because I was going to ask this. So now with that slap, is COVID over?
Oh, yeah. COVID's been over since we invaded Ukraine, dude.
Right? Yeah. I just
slapped the COVID right out of him.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel sorry for people. Listen, as you guys can attest to in your shows, right? Like, how many times as you're leaving the show at this past couple months, and people are like, thank you so much for doing the show. everything's been really sad. I've been stressed over everything. I really needed a good laugh. And I was like, oh, if you needed a good laugh, you should have went to Reep or Heffron show. I'm sorry you came on. But you know, like this is I didn't watch it. You guys didn't watch. We didn't watch it live, but the people who watched it were trying to watch entertainment, trying to see what someone was wearing, trying to look at their favorite stars. The last thing they need is violence in front of them. We got a war if we want to watch people getting hurt. We had all kinds of stuff, man.
Oh, let me just throw this in there too. You know, did you watch the acceptance speech where he did not thank or apologize to Chris? He also kind of threw King Richard under the bus because he was kind of saying, you know what? Love makes you do crazy things. I've been channeling this dude. Like he kind of was blaming a sane person who's not an actor, who's not a method actor, who doesn't get into the role, might not do this, but an actor who's emotionally always right, like there. And I just came out of being this King Richard guy. Like I think there's a little bit of that, whether he did it or not on purpose. I think he accidentally threw King Richard under the bus because he didn't take ownership of it. He was talking about emotions and all this stuff.
Well, I mean, look.
I mean, we can see it. The Alan Jackson, I don't know if you could find the actual acceptance speech, but if you can, I'd love for us to watch it just so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm not making that
No,
up.
I saw, and you know, the thing is I don't know. I think they said it was a real slap in the face also for Venus and Serena because that was a movie about their lives and I don't know. The whole thing is just bizarre to me. I can't understand it. They could have easily walked it back. He could have walked up there and smacked him and then been like, I'm just kidding. That was a fun. But when he sat down and made it awkward and was swearing and everything else, he could have pulled himself. He could have really smacked him for real and pulled himself out. He felt he was justified. He had this sense of entitlement that he was allowed because he didn't like something that a comedian was saying. Well, let's be honest. You know, I didn't like Hitch.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I mean, there's a bunch we could go down the list. I mean, he's done some good stuff, but they have not all been great.
It's just if we're starting to smack people for their bad work, everybody's going to be in trouble.
Right.
You know,
right.
I mean, I just don't understand any of it. I don't think that Chris is going to say anything because if you don't say it today,
I really hope he does, even if it's not, like I said, vicious, like just because in a weird way, him not saying something.
I'm taking this down. This
is like the actual cancel culture kind of winning.
This is messy.
Because in a weird way, they canceled Chris Rock. You know what I mean? Like, because you smacked him and then he got quiet, then that's how you silence a comedian. And I don't want that to be how this ends. I want Chris Rock to say something, even if it's a small 10-second video.
Well, I almost feel like I really was kidding, but I feel like comedians should unite because this is ridiculous. We should all back him up because
100%.
You know,
like I was saying beforehand, if it's, and I believe it's real, if it's real, I'm 100% team Chris Rock. If it's fake, I don't understand why it would be.
Let's read what Alan just put up.
Alan just posted, Will Smith apologizes to Chris Rock for Oscar slap. I was out of line and I was wrong. Okay, well, that's good.
Is there more? Is there more? If we were doing a news story,
there he is crying again. Man, he's been crying a lot lately.
Will Smith has issued an apology slapping Chris Rock on the Oscars. Violence in any form is poisonous. That's why I don't read.
Poisonous and destructive. I got you, John. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job. But a joke, here we go, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. That is all true. That is a rational brain.
That's because he's afraid they're going to take his Academy Award. He didn't say that until first the Academy opened up in a review. This was not issued last night. Last night, he was high-fiving people. I know for a fact because people were at the party with him that I know, and people were coming up to him and saying, should you sign your Academy Award? Is it like a bat, like a broken bat, a ball? Like, so he was high-fiving for it.
Wow.
So today, when he's afraid he's going to lose it, I don't really care. The problem is they could go beat the hell out of each other for all I care. Just do not come on my stage. I carry, all right? I don't care what anybody wants to say. I have a license and I carry and I've been carrying. And if you don't like it, don't come. I'm telling you now. I'm going to set my gun right on the fucking stage from now on.
I like what you said too about like every club should poll the audience whether or not that determines who's allowed in your show. What was I forgot what you said exactly.
Yeah. Who do you think was right in that situation? Will or Chris? Chris, come on in. Will, get the fuck out of here. This is not your show.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You don't have to agree with me. I don't need it. I don't need you to agree with me, James. I just need you. If you're in my show, my job is to make the people who do show up and like me laugh. That's it. All we want to do is make people laugh. Chris wasn't trying to make fun of her medical condition. Quite honestly, he was making fun of G.I. Jane if we're really looking at subject. And now,
by the way, G.I. Jane, Demi Moore at the time, hot. Everyone wants to bang both of them.
When they said the G.I., I didn't think that was a slam. It
was a bald girl. That's all it was. It was a bald girl joke. That's all it was.
Yeah, I mean,
which pissed her off. And then all this stuff happens. But the Alan Jackson, is there a video of Will Smith accepting the award? I'd like to see that if we can watch it.
By the way, Will wasn't channeling Richard Williams. He was channeling Ike Turner. That's what that was.
That's the joke. That's good, right? Tammy. That's why you are who you are. All right, let's watch this.
Oh man. Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family.
See, that's what I'm saying. He's lumping his actions because that's his family. Jed is his family.
I'm Sicilian. I'll tell you about family.
Yeah.
In this time in my life, in this moment, I am
talking
overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be.
So there he blamed God. So far he's blamed Serena's dad and God. Okay.
Right. And the devil.
Making this film, I got to protect Ingenue Ellis, who was one of the strongest, most delicate people I've ever met. I got to protect.
He's delicate.
Sanaya and Demi.
You should start playing them off right now.
Two actresses that played Venus.
Beats up the band guy.
Chris Rock should have come out right here.
This is a man having a mental breakdown right
should have pulled
I think you're right, Tammy.
I think Taylor Swift. Grab the mic. Bitch, I'm going to let you finish in a minute.
That's what Chris should have came out and stole it right from.
Yeah.
To love people.
Did we say all that and he hadn't said anything?
People.
Protect people. See, my part was in the beginning of that when he was saying like the guy I was playing in this movie protected his family, and that's what I just.
I had a development deal with Overbrook, by the way. From Will and Jada gave me money early on in my career. So let's also talk about that.
Abuse. You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you.
So to deal with the abuse, you abuse other people.
You got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay.
See right there, I've been abused. You got to pretend like it's okay. So that proves our point that this is a nail in the coffin. He's been taking it forever, and he had enough.
Thank you, D. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you.
Oh, so now it's the devil.
It's the devil.
So it's the God. It's God. It's the devil.
He's like, why'd you mention my name?
King
Take
Richard.
my name out of your mouth. Yeah.
Wait, did Denzel say that in the movie?
It's like
No, he said
Something about-
the King Kong.
I want to be a vessel for love.
Well, you're not.
I want to say thank you to Venus and Serena. I just spit. I hope they didn't see that on TV.
Now they edit that out.
Now
I
we
want to say
spit on
thank you to
somebody.
Venus and Serena and the entire Williams.
Wait a second.
I think that's
wait.
good. I think that's good, the Alan Jackson. I just
this is
I wanted y'all to hear what
exhausted
I
even talking
How
about that.
long did he talk though?
I know.
Yeah,
I didn't.
so one, well, why wasn't he played out with music? But then he goes spit because I don't want them to see that on TV, opposed to the slap. Was
Wait
he
a
like
second.
joking?
Yeah, Alan, how many minutes was that? Because here's the
That
thing.
whole thing is 5 minutes and 48, almost 6 minutes long.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 minutes.
They wouldn't throw him out. Then they let him talk on and on. I mean, listen, God
I didn't
rest
give my
Ralphie
Features
May.
Act that much time in front of me.
Remember when Ralphie May held us all hostage? We were 2 hours waiting for him during Last Comic Standing. God rest his soul, okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Ralphie was a good guy, but he held the entire 13 comics and 20 crew members, right? Hostage because he was 2 hours late smoking weed somewhere.
Yeah.
He's Ralphie May and these people.
My season, that would be Lavelle Crawford. But yes, okay. So we're all in agreement. It was real. We all agree that was some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
We might not all agree about how Chris Rock should respond, because we just saw, as we're talking, the Alan Jackson put it up that Will Smith made the public apology. What does Chris Rock do next?
I would love for him to destroy him. I think if he'd have smacked Dave Chappelle, first of all, I think Dave Chappelle would have knocked him out. Dave would have responded like that. The Chris Rock that you fell in love with, the Chris Rock that we all were inspired to be comedians by, is no longer. He's part of the Hollywood machine.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't think what are you laughing at me, John?
John is. I love this.
Yeah.
Because I have nothing to lose, right? Those have nothing to hide nothing. I mean, literally.
That's because he's reached such a certain level.
Yeah, they do. And I think he's being quiet because he's being asked to be quiet. And I think he's trying to be respectful. I think it's probably coming at him from more than Hollywood people. I think it's now incumbent that it doesn't look like a fight between these two titans of not only Hollywood, but of two black men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's important that they figure it out. I could care again.
Yeah, folks, at the end of the day, because this is going on my channel and John's channel. And I hope that Tammy will share this in the future if she wants to. But the people who are watching us now, I know you guys don't give a shit about the Oscars. We don't either.
No.
It's about a comedian being attacked on stage because all three of us are comedians. We will not accept it, and we don't want it to be accepted. So, which is why I want something to happen to either Will Smith or Chris Rock to do something. That's the whole point of this conversation.
I will tell you this, that the first comedian who gets assaulted post this, because it's going to happen, should sue Will Smith and the Academy Awards.
Oh, I like this. Yes.
Well,
And I don't even believe in suits. I don't even believe in lawsuits because I've never sued anybody for anything, not one single time in my life. But I'm telling you that that's what they should do, because if they'd have thrown him out, it would have stopped the precedent right there. It would have never happened. But because they allowed him to hit someone physically, then even his apology says, well, I did it because I didn't like the joke. I couldn't handle it anymore.
Right. So now every comedy club, the announcement's going to be, please turn off your cell phones, keep your table talk down, and do not slap the comedian.
Yeah. Or if you slap the comedian, accept the ramification.
Yeah. Stick around for your Academy Award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's bullshit. John, you've been quiet for a minute. What's up?
No, I just think we're all done as society. That's why I have box wine for when the world starts. I'm going to start my own religion so we can have communion. I think we're done.
Funny you would say that. I was watching the Heaven's Gate people last night, and I watched the doc. It's on. I think it's on.
Yes, it's good. I've seen it.
Yeah, and the guy that looked like Danger Will Robinson.
Yeah.
I don't know what the guy's name was.
The old weird bald guy. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a lot of charisma and was kind of funny. And I said, I wonder if I had such a mental deviancy, if I could get people to follow me in a cult-like way. And then I realized that's kind of what comics do.
Right. We have our little followings. We just can't convince them to cut their balls off and kill themselves.
Yeah, but who would?
No, but yeah, I think
good.
with comics, especially now, do you think, audience people go to listen to the jokes that the comedian's seeing, or they're going to see the personality, the comedian, right? So if somebody goes see Theo Vaughn or Sebastian or any of the Burt Kreischer, do you think they're like that joke structure was well written? Like nobody knows about the content that they're saying, because now they're a cult of personality. And I just mentioned those three guys because they're popped in my head for people who sell a lot of people just want to see them, not what they're saying. Not like, I hope they just want to see that.
Well, we all went through that. We all had, right after last comic, all three of us went out, and you would be.
And everybody saw me once and went, we get it. We're good.
You got on stage and got a standing ovation to get on stage, right?
But I'm saying, with the cult leaders,
they just want to see you.
But with the cult leaders and stuff, that's how easy that kind of would be. Like I could name 5 comics that if they kind of started a cult would have probably more people in it than the documentary you just saw.
Yeah, for sure.
And those are more of your TikTok, Instagram people who did that first, then did comedy second. They've already got some weird internet following that we didn't have the luxury of having before all this crap.
Mailers.
But to one of your, I forgot who brought this up. They're not paying attention to the actual joke. They hear one part of it. I mean, the joke was fine. It was he said, dude, it was a G.I. Jane joke. Like he said that as he was walking on stage. So I don't like it when they don't even get how well the joke was. Like I have my own mom, who I love dearly, who I know was just on this show the other day, because we recorded something about my birthday. So we talked about me and my birthday.
By the way.
Thank you very much. I said, one of the questions from a fan was, has John ever done a joke or said something to where you asked him to stop saying it or something like that? I said, well, Mom, have you? She goes, well, there was this one time where you talked about a person with tiny arms playing tennis. I was like, I said, Mom, first of all, that person doesn't exist. It was a made-up person.
Yeah.
And the joke was about speed walking and how dumb speed walking looks to me. And what's next? Tennis for people with tiny arms. My own mom didn't get it. Yeah. So I'm like, if my own mom's not getting it, there's a lot of people out there who are just not, you're not getting the idea, the heart of the joke. And I know it bothers me when they don't get it. You know what I mean?
My brother has just decided, the one that I talk about the most, has decided that he does not want me. He came and said, I don't want you talking about me in your act. And I said, when you stop getting DUIs for being on your lawnmower, I will stop talking. When I have to stop paying for your DUIs, I'll stop talking about you.
Right.
This is what I have to do. I mean, look, no one is trying to hurt each other. I don't know a comic. I don't know one comic that actually goes out to try to hurt somebody's feelings.
Right. I don't know them either.
I really don't. And I can't. We live in a society now that someone has died or been hurt or suffered from something. Your grandmother died of inhaling a lint ball. Someone tripped over their cat. So you can't talk about cats. You can't talk about trips. You can't talk about vacations because it infers trip. I mean, there's something for every. If we start doing a poll, we'll be left with nothing to talk about.
Right. Exactly. Well, I think that's a good way to end this one. John Heffron, would you like any final thoughts?
I bet Reep, your mom is watching.
Hey, Mama,
Sorry for
listen.
Swearing.
You know I love you, but that's not what the joke was about. I'll be home in a minute, and you can yell at me later.
I think she should put you in a timeout or ground you. Still, she's still your mom, dude. I don't care if you just
had
50.
some delicious chicken pan pie.
I'm glad I was worked up tonight, you guys. Thank you,
Tammy.
Nice
listen, you were. Thank you. We should do this. I mean, the idea is to start our own little circle of friends, and we can just build and build and build and keep doing it. So
yeah, well,
and I know you've had history with this, so I thought like this.
I have to tell you the truth. I'm not afraid of much, and you guys know that. You know that I'm tough, but it is a scary. My husband came to me and said, I've been upset all day because all I can think about is you out there by yourself having to deal with that. He also said to me, they smacked the wrong comedian, but that's another personal problem.
Yeah. I'm like, now I want to go back and watch.
You just got that
to see what comedian we're talking about. Okay. John, I forgot. Any where are you going to be? What are you promoting? Charcuterie boards?
Yeah. So, Alan, throw that up there. Tammy, if you've not seen my new website, it's, I literally, with a buddy started making charcuterie boards. I hang out with them, in a shop. We make charcuterie boards. We talk about college. Today we listened to the Vision Quest soundtrack. We talked about it on the podcast last week, and we're selling these. So literally, I packaged them up today. I have stamps. I put stickers on. I threw random 80s cassettes in some of them. It's a weird thing. So go to that website right there and just check them out. Also, heffronandreep.com will have all of our dates. There must have been a fallout at the Columbus Funny Bone because I'm there. So somebody, there's somebody. That's nice. Somebody is going to Montreal or something, and now I'm there. But it's whenever. Go to heffronandreep.com. There we go. Love that club. I haven't been to Columbus in a while.
Talk show called 3 a.m. Friend on Fireside. It's Mark Cuban's app. Download it, and you can join in just like I did with you guys. I can pull guests on up, so I'd love to have the both of you on that show. It's doing.
Is there a link to that at your website, Tammy, or?
Yeah, on my socials.
On your socials.
No, we need to do, John, on our Heffron and Reep. We need to have the Heffron and Reep friends of the show or the circle or whatever we call our club. And then that way everybody can always just go there and then like find out Tammy stuff and find Reno's. Yeah. If Steve Byrne can pass our initiation, then Steve.
When are we all going on the road together? That's what I want to do. Let's just do a.
Don't even get me started. You want to do a run of bowling alleys? Because I can make that happen.
John-a-palooza. I'm happy.
Right. Well, I'm down. Well, we're going to get there, guys. And no slapping. Everyone who's watching.
Yeah, if you're on a show, you keep. Yeah,
that's how we bring each other up.
Just slap.
Instead of
wait, I got it, Tammy. Here's the appropriate way to slap at a comedy club. You ready? This is the appropriate way.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or high five each other.
Don't slap the face. Okay. Thank you, Tammy. Always good to see you. We love you so much. And thank you, John Heffron.
Real quick, before we get off, John, I know you're about to wrap it up, but I just have to ask this question since Tammy's here. Tammy, does your son still have his Kung Fu dummy?
Yeah, he does.
If you ever guys want to sell it, don't put it on Marketplace. I would like to buy it. I was watching a Kung Fu movie. What? I was watching a movie and they were saying, I'm like, Pescatelli's kid has one of those.
Can't you make one? You're making charcuterie boards. You got the wood out there. Just make a crooked one.
I didn't even think about that. Okay. Sorry, Jim.
You'll be selling those 2 weeks from now, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Come back to my channel tomorrow night for another live country-ish podcast. I'm going to talk all about my 50th birthday. I'm going to talk about me performing at the Grand Ole Opry. I'm going to talk about all the good times I had in Nashville. That'll be tomorrow night right here, 8 o'clock. And for John Heffron and for Tammy Pescatelli, I'm Jon Reep. And this was Heffron and Reep Bicycle.
Since you love the Heffron and Reep show, please go to iTunes and let them know. Rank the show and leave a comment. We don't care what you write, you know. They Heffron and Reep have low self-esteem. So please validate them by ranking them and making them seen. So no matter what